welcome to ASEAN Talks on ASEAN TV. I am Tulip Naksomphop, your host in this episode. One of the news that shocked the whole world in December of 2011 is the death of the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-il. So today we'll talk about what's going to happen next in North Korea and the relation with South Korea and what else in the region that related to that. And in the show today, I would like to welcome Dr. Surat Horachaikul from the Chulalongkorn University. สวัสดีค่ะ and Dr. Andrew Goodman. สวัสดีค่ะ First of all, a lot of people saying that the departed of Kim Jong-il should be a good chance for North Korea to open themselves with other countries in the region, or maybe retain to another, come back to another talk about the nuclear weapons or relationship with the other countries. What do you think about that?
Myself? Well, I would say yes and no, depends, but there are a number of factors involved in that. For example, we do not know much about Kim Jong-un.
Yes.
And we don't really know also how much he would be able to control North Korea as such, given that he also have his relatives, someone who's also looking for power. Importantly, we don't know how much he can control the military faction in North Korea as well. And importantly, we don't know what is his personal agenda,
right.
Whether he want to go like his grandfather, his father, or whether he wants to go for something else completely. Undoubtedly, right now what we have also been seeing is also the economic conditions in North Korea. It's not very good at all, quite severe for a number of people. And definitely, in order to survive, this kind of regime would normally seek, foreign assistance in here. So, in a way, this could be an opportunity also for,
yes.
Superpowers in the region or in the world to actually try to interact and demand more changes in North Korea. But at the same time, we have seen also that Kim Jong-il used the technique of being a kind of rogue state,
right.
With nuclear weapons, arsenals, and so on, to demand and negotiate, with various kinds of things. So very secret, very secretive country. So we don't really know what will be the next step. This is my point of view. So it could be yes and no.
I was going to ask. In 2002, Kim Jong-il's government admitted it is developing nuclear weapons. How do we know it really exists?
I don't think we can know, but I think that because they've used satellite photography and Pyongyang, I think I might not be pronouncing that right, but they think there's a reactor being built there.
Right.
But satellite photos are notoriously unreliable. If we can remember back to 2003, and and the now infamous comments of George W. Bush, he's got him, thinking that Saddam had nuclear and chemical weapons,
okay.
and that was based on satellite photography
right.
that proved to be unreliable and proved to be incorrect. And so I'm not sure that we can know, but I think that if you look at what the North Koreans are doing, essentially what I see them doing is basically their foreign policy seems to be, or their whole policy, their economic policy, everything seems to be, we'll threaten to build nuclear weapons and you feed us, to the UN or the US or whoever it may be. And so I think we can rest assured that they're certainly going to continue to work to do that because it's their trump card, at least as long as this regime stays in power.
In 2006, North Korea media said that they had conducted the first underground nuclear test, but again, we cannot really know for sure whether they really do have such thing.
Well, we cannot exactly know, like what Dr. Andrew Goodman just said. But at the same time, there are, certain pieces of evidence pointing toward the launch of missiles and other things, But how much capability that kind of missiles would be able to do it,
right?
And whether you would have full capability of being nuclear power as such or not, that's remain a question mark. we can also rely on the evidence of the very famous scientist in Pakistan called A.Q. Khan, and of course his connection with Iran and North Korea in the past, how these travelings were happening and so on. So undoubtedly, we do not know exactly what they have, but at the same time, there seems to be evidence suggesting that they tend to move to that kind of line very much. Yeah.
Right. What if somehow someone able to find out that they don't have this mass destruction weapon? What do you think it will change the course of the negotiation of the whole situation right now?
I think it kind of does, because if you look at one of the things that, and this is kind of a scary thing in a way, but also happens to be at least what we've been able to ascertain, there's a lot of truth to this, is that what we know of the intelligence in South Korea, one of the things they said they were keeping their eye on was the whole Gaddafi situation, and the reason they were so interested in that is because the feeling in North Korea is that if Gaddafi had nuclear weapons, he would never have been overthrown.
Right.
And there's a lot of similarities between those two regimes. I mean, they're not totally the same, but they're both pretty brutal dictatorships that control the population and have sort of a hammerlock on power. So I think that if that trump card isn't in the deck, it does make a difference. It's interesting. There's a guy that writes for The Nation that does cartoons. His name is Steph. And he had a cartoon, and it was several years ago. And in the cartoon, there's the guy that's being Uncle Sam, the U.S. government, and he's there with the big hat on with the American flag. And then there's somebody that's supposed to have been Kim Jong-il playing cards, and the Kim Jong-il character is smiling. And the reason he's smiling, he's got aces in his hand, but he's got this one thing, and it's got the nuclear weapon symbol, the two circles, and it's kind of like, this is my ace in the hole, which is sort of like a trump card. So I think it would change things, because I think that the power in North Korea is based on that threat to a large extent.
There was supposed to be a talk in December, but it didn't happen because Kim Jong-il passed away first, about the denuclearization of North Korea. Do you think it's going to happen with the new leader, and what do you think turn it's going to take?
Well, I don't think the term nuclear can be just straightforward put in that agenda completely. It has to be look at what you call the six-party talk on the regional things, and down there are many agendas that they have to talk as well. And there it comes, the nuclear topic and what you call peace and stability of the region, which of course China has also to be taking responsibility as well. As I have said many times, when you grow bigger, when you become more prosperous, you have more responsibility also. You have more ethics, to concern, So basically, this six-party talk is something that United States of America agrees and would like it to happen. But at the same time, we also know that why this six-party talk is also because of the China factor in here. So how this can be done, it depends very much on what I have said earlier, that economic conditions in North Korea is very severe. So in order to survive, the regime might come up with a card, what you call trump card, negotiation card, or whatsoever. But again, nothing is consistent, And again, if going to your last question to Dr. Andrew Goodman, I also see that nuclear is, of course, one issue agenda, but there's also one big issue that we should not forget. It is also about human rights violations in North Korea. No matter you have nuclear or you don't have it, we have to talk about it. And I'm not even talking about democracy first. I'm talking about basic, fundamental human rights that every human being should be able to enjoy. And in this, you have to divide it into two cases. People coming out of North Korea, they've been forced to go out because they cannot live under that kind of condition. Hungry, cannot have proper 3 meals a day and so on. And this comes, of course, to a very famous international clause that what should we do with these kind of states that are unable to show their responsibility to protect their own people. And the second case is, of course, we have many what you call abduction cases, and including one female person from Thailand is now we believe to be in North Korea, whose name is Anosha Panchoy.
Oh, I heard about her. It's
That's right.
many, many years already.
Many years ago, and I don't think this is something that we can turn blind eyes to, because nobody should be deprived of their liberty and be taken away somewhere without his or her consent.
Do you think that the government of many countries in this world has been too easy on North Korea about this issue so far?
Go ahead.
Sorry, in my opinion, I think there are some problems concerning standards of international standard, and we should not be shy from criticizing that also. Okay? When it's come to certain Muslim countries, to various kind of countries, and of course, criticizing here means that we want to go for something very constructive for the world peace. If you take, for example, the way international community sees Burma in comparison to North Korea, I mean, quite harsh.
Right.
What happened, the way they reacted towards Burma in comparison to North Korea.
Seems like most countries are more outspoken.
More
with
outspoken
the,
about
situation in Burma.
And this is also the kind of feeling I have. Okay, but again, North Korea is that we don't know much about the country. This is also one of the reasons that a lot of people do not discuss about it very much. And I can tell you that from my studies and from talking to those coming out of North Korea, the condition is really brutal, and it's not fair for people who live there.
Right.
So if somebody compiles them all together, I got like 2-3 who used to be political prisoners speaking at Chulalongkorn University.
Wow.
And he told us what happened to him, what he was, how he was treated and so on. It's really shocking, and especially if you take the account of the guy called Jenkins, who was American soldier, and he defected to there. He then eventually was allowed to leave North Korea because the Japanese Prime Minister Koizumi negotiated with Kim Jong-il on the condition that Kim Jong-il sends the Japanese, those who've been abducted. So one of the women got married to Jenkins, and that's why Jenkins could come out as well. And Jenkins came to Thailand, and we arranged a conference at the Ambassador Hotel in Sukhumvit, and he told us, and he even showed Anosha Panchoy photos, sitting behind him in North Korea. And, with this kinds of things that people are telling us all the time, how do we talk about this, as what I call international justice, global justice.
Right.
And importantly, if you go to see the record of Professor Vitit Mantaporn, who was appointed as Special Rapporteur for UN Human Rights Commission, he was not even allowed to enter North Korea for a time. If somebody accused Kuntulip of Thailand, they can come and see it, isn't it? Being open and allowing other people to come and inspect
to
you.
investigate,
It
to
means that
check the facts.
you have a fair system, whatever you see it. But if you do not allow someone to enter the country, it means that there's a problem. And one more thing that we have forgotten is that the ex-Prime Minister of Japan, Koizumi, negotiated with Kim Jong-il. And after that, Kim Jong-il sent, I think, about 10 Japanese abducted people. What does it mean is that if you admit it and you send those people back, it means
How many more?
How many more
How
there?
many more
And
in there?
you have already admitted of the crime that you have done.
I've done this. That's it. I'm not saying I didn't.
That's right.
But they never denied anything anyway, right?
Well, if you,
Well, KCNA denies everything. The Korean news agency, right?
when I try to tell them about Anosha Panchoy, I even met the ambassadors of North Korea. I'm not sure whether it's Karen or the ex-one. We met somewhere nearby Ramintra, and we said, this is not fair. You have to send her back no matter what. Her father already died. Her brother is very ill, and now her nephew is working very hard.
And what is the reason? What is the reason to keep her there?
And North Korea keeps saying that, no, we don't have her. It's all American propaganda and this and that. I criticize United States of America every time. when I see, United States of America is not doing the right thing.
Right.
But United States of America doesn't close
They're
its
not
country
involved in this at all.
from people to go in, isn't it?
Well, talking. Anyway, we're going to take a short break and we will come back and talk more about this, what is happening there and what else we haven't know or we know and whether we don't know if it's true or not. This is something all very cloudy and all. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back very soon.